know that you can manage your boss. So this is a thing. It's called managing up.
Wow.
And Sarah Vermunt is going to tell us all about it. All right, Sarah, I've actually never heard of this. So are there certain behaviors that we can use to manage up?
There are. Tricky, however, because you have less power than your boss.
Right.
Right? So you can't just bust in there wild.
Yes.
But if you figure out how to do this well, you'll end up getting more of what you want out of work more often. So it's worth giving it a shot.
Okay.
So behaviors that work. So basically what managing up is you're taking behaviors that good managers have, and then you're flowing those behaviors upwards. So I'll give you an example. An example of a good behavior that a manager has, frankly, a behavior we all wish our managers had, is understanding your employees as a person, right? Understanding who they are, understanding their needs, trying as best you can to meet their needs.
They're human beings.
Human beings.
They're not robots.
Yes, right. So just understanding who the people are that you're working with. So that's a wonderful behavior that we all value in managers. So when you're managing up, you want to take, for example, that behavior and sort of channel that behavior upwards. So you want to start to notice your boss as a person, right?
Yeah.
Understand their needs, and as best you can, try to like anticipate their needs so that you both get what you want out of your relationship.
Oh, very interesting. Okay, so you're thinking about your boss. What if your boss is a micromanager?
Okay, so this is the perfect example.
Yeah.
Because a lot of people have bosses who are micromanagers, right? So micromanagers are all about control, right? And usually when people are all about control, it's because they have anxiety about something. So that's good for you to know if you have a boss who's a micromanager. You can step into their shoes and you can say, okay, my boss is trying to control things for a reason. They're probably having some sort of anxiety. Maybe they're afraid that I'm not going to complete this project on time, or it's not going to be done right.
Maybe someone's breathing down their neck.
Exactly.
Right.
And so what you want to do when you realize that is you want to understand where they're coming from and sort of like preemptively head them off before you get that ping in the afternoon that's like, hey, how's that project going? Instead, you want to be proactive and maybe like give them some extra updates before you know that those requests are going to be coming. So it's about anticipating their needs and sort of like just making sure those needs are met so you don't have to deal with it on their time. You can just get ahead of it.
Yeah, and you don't actually have to deal with the annoyance of getting that ping. And then it's like, oh my gosh, I'm working on it. Stop talking to me about it. Get on top of that, get in front of it.
Exactly.
So it's not just about pushing for what you want. It's about understanding how your boss ticks. Like when you start to understand them, then you can maybe be a few paces ahead and help them out, which will help you out.
Yes, and then taking behaviors that are actually mutually beneficial for you both, right? So you both want to win when you're taking these activities. It's kind of like in the movie Jerry Maguire, there's that famous quote, help me, help you.
Yes.
That's actually what you're trying to do when you're managing up. You're trying to help your boss make your life a little easier by knowing and understanding what they need.
Yes, so you're basically also leading by example.
Yep.
And hopefully that works. Are there any other examples you might throw out there in terms of a boss that you might be dealing with and how you might be able to get them to be a mutually beneficial partner?
Sure, yeah. So let's make up a scenario. Let's say you're my boss.
Okay.
And I want a raise.
Okay.
Okay, so Tracy's my boss. I'm looking for a raise.
You can have a raise.
It's never that easy.
That's why I'm no one's boss. So I will never be someone's boss. Yes, you can have the money.
If you were my real boss, I would have to work a little harder than that, right?
Yeah.
So I would say to myself something like, okay, what does Tracy need in order to give me this raise? And also, like, I might want to like take into account some things around you, like your personality and what I know about you. So I might ask myself, what does Tracy need? And like maybe like when's the best time to have this conversation? So I'm thinking, okay, Tracy's really sharp. That means I'm going to have to show up with some evidence about why I should have a raise. Like I'm going to come prepared because I know you're on top of your game.
Yeah.
And then let's say, hypothetically, let's say I know like Oh, Tracy gets a bit tired by mid-afternoon. She might be a little more cranky.
Yes.
So I'm going to book a morning meeting for this conversation.
Oh, you're so smart.
So I'm sort of like heading that off and thinking in advance about what my boss needs. So some other examples. This also works really well if you are wanting to create better boundaries. Let's say your boss is like reaching out to you after hours all the time. You want to sort of get behind that anxiety and figure out why that's going on and head that off.
Yes.
It's also really great if you are wanting to maybe be put on different projects. You can make a case for your projects better.
Yeah.
Also really good if you want to be taken off of certain projects. Like making a case for yourself in a way that also meets your boss's needs is really what we're talking about.
Okay, good. Yeah, hit me up at 6 a.m., bring a chocolate bar, you will get the raise. Okay? Any negatives we should know about managing up, Sarah?
Yeah, it doesn't always work.
Yeah.
It works a lot of the time, especially if you're relationship building. So the investment over time is really good, but it's not going to work every time. But you will find yourself getting more of what you want more often. And the silver lining here also is this is a really good behavior to engage in if you're hoping to maybe move into a more of a leadership position at work. Because as you move up at work, this is a quality and a behavior that you're really going to need as a leader.
I just like the whole idea of us showing up like with more humanity in the workspace.
Amen.
Right? That would be great for everyone involved. Sarah, thank you so much.